What happens when an idol reaches number one once? You celebrate. What happens when they do it for a few months? You call it impressive. But what happens when the same name stays at the top for 128 consecutive weeks? At that point, we're no longer talking about an ordinary popularity streak. We're talking about a phenomenon. And somehow, BTS Jin has done exactly that. The latest MY1PICK results have delivered another incredible chapter in Jin's already extraordinary record. For the first week of August, covering August 2nd through August 9th, Jin once again claimed the number one position in the K-pop Individual Weekly Ranking. And this time, he received an astonishing 10,060,301 votes. More than 10 million votes in a single week. But perhaps the most emotional part isn't even the number itself, it's what that number represents. Because behind every vote is someone who took a moment to choose Jin, someone who remembered him, someone who wanted to see his name remain at the top. And when millions of those choices come together week after week, the result becomes something much larger than a ranking. It becomes a story of loyalty. A story that has now continued for 128 consecutive weeks. Imagine going back 128 weeks. So many things can change in that amount of time. New songs are released, new trends appear, new artists rise, people's attention moves from one story to another. Even the biggest moments in entertainment eventually become yesterday's news. But through all of those changes, one thing has remained remarkably consistent. Jin's name at number one, week after week, month after month, again and again. And that's what makes this achievement so fascinating. It's not simply about winning, it's about maintaining that position. Because taking number one once can happen through a huge comeback, a viral moment, or an especially strong campaign. But staying there for 128 consecutive weeks requires something completely different. It requires an incredibly consistent connection between an artist and the people who support him. And Jin's latest result shows that connection is still incredibly strong. But then comes another number that makes the achievement even more remarkable: 31 consecutive months. Jin also topped the monthly K-pop Individual Ranking last month, extending his monthly number one streak to 31 consecutive months. 31 months, more than 2.5 years. Think about how long that really is. For more than 2.5 years, fans have continued to return to the same ranking and put Jin's name at the top. And every month, another chapter has been added to the record. 31 months became 31 consecutive number one finishes. And now the weekly streak has reached 128. It creates an almost unbelievable picture of consistency. But Jin's story isn't only about popularity votes. His solo career has been developing alongside this incredible fan support. His second solo mini-album, Echo, has continued to strengthen his identity as a solo artist, while the title track, Don't Say You Love Me, has achieved success on major domestic and international music charts. And then came another special moment. On June 13th, Jin received the Best of Listener's Choice Overseas Song Award at the Music Awards Japan for Don't Say You Love Me. That achievement carries a different kind of meaning, because fan votes show how strongly people support an artist. But recognition from the music industry shows how that artist's work is being received beyond the fandom itself. And Jin has been experiencing both: the love from fans and recognition for his music. At the same time, another side of Jin has been attracting attention. His fashion presence continues to grow. Jin appeared on the cover of the August issue of Elle, giving fans another unforgettable image of him. And just when fans thought that was enough, another cover was unveiled through Elle's digital project, D Edition. For an artist who is already known worldwide for his stage presence, these fashion appearances reveal a completely different side. The performer becomes the model. The singer becomes the cover star, and the familiar Jin that fans know from the stage suddenly appears in an entirely different atmosphere. Yet even with all of these major achievements, Jin has continued to make time for the people who have supported him throughout the journey. Through Instagram, he has been sharing behind-the-scenes photos and videos from his performances, and those small moments can sometimes feel just as meaningful as the major headlines. Because fans don't only want to see the finished performance, they want to see what happens behind it. The preparation, the quiet moments, the memories that exist between the bright lights and the screaming crowd. And Jin has continued giving fans glimpses into those moments. Meanwhile, the story is becoming even bigger because BTS is now continuing its BTS World Tour, Arirang. The group is scheduled to perform at M&T Bank Stadium in Baltimore on August 11th and 12th. So Jin isn't simply watching his numbers grow from a distance. He's actively standing on stages around the world, performing in front of fans and creating new memories while this record continues in the background. And that makes the timing of this achievement particularly interesting, because Jin is not looking back at the 128-week streak. He's still moving forward. There are still concerts, still performances, still music, still fashion projects, still moments waiting to happen. And somewhere in the middle of all of that, fans are continuing to cast their votes. One vote, then another million, until suddenly the number reaches more than 10 million, 10,060,301 votes, and Jin's name is once again sitting at number 1. There is something almost poetic about that. The record itself is made of numbers. 128 weeks, 31 months, 10,006,301 votes. But behind those numbers are emotions that numbers can't really measure. Excitement when Jin wins, pride when another record is announced, the anticipation of checking the ranking, the happiness of seeing his name at the top again, and perhaps most importantly, the feeling of being part of something that has continued for years. Because every week, fans have the opportunity to say the same thing in their own way. We're still here. And Jin's latest #1 finish feels like an answer to that message. I'm still here too. That may be why this 128-week record feels so different from an ordinary ranking result. It's not just about how many times Jin has won, it's about how many times people have chosen him, again, and again, and again, even after 128 weeks, even after 31 consecutive months, even after countless songs, performances, interviews, magazine covers, awards, and unforgettable moments. The support hasn't disappeared. If anything, the latest numbers suggest that it remains incredibly powerful. And now, the next milestone is already waiting. 129 weeks. Then perhaps 130. And after that, who knows? Maybe one day, fans will look back at 128 weeks and realize it was only another step toward an even more unbelievable record. Because if there's one thing Jin's MY1PICK journey has shown us, it's this. The streak doesn't seem ready to end. The number keeps growing. The votes keep coming, the stages keep getting bigger, and fans keep choosing the same name, Jin. 128 consecutive weeks at #1, 31 consecutive months at #1, and another 10 million plus votes added to a record that continues to grow. At this point, the real question may not be whether Jin can reach the next milestone. It may be, just how far can this streak go? Because 128 weeks once sounded impossible, and now, it's history.